I'm going to talk about animals today, hence by the giant pile of animals you see behind me. As you already saw, probably by the title card and such, this is going to be about the Mink tribe and the loyalty that the Mink tribe has shown throughout the course of the One Piece series that we've known the Mink tribe. And I happen to have my Zoe Island arc up here, poster up here, wall scroll. It's like explaining to my mother where Zoe is in One Piece. Well, it's a kingdom of half kind of, human hybrid animals, anthropomorphized animals that live in like an ancient city that's 1,000 years old. That's on top of a giant elephant that's continually walking the ocean, walking throughout the ocean. My mother. Okay. I mean, I know it's kind of interesting to explain the concept. It's fun explaining some One Piece things to my mom just to kind of see what her reaction is going to be to certain things. But in this case, as I said, I wanted to talk about the loyalty of the Minks. And this has been shown several times throughout the course of the time that we've seen them. Mostly when it comes to, of course, the Raizo is safe moment, which is kind of what inspired this video. I'm currently getting caught up on the English dub of the anime. And I recently... I had other anime that I was getting watched first, and then I was like, okay, let's go back to One Piece and see how much further the English dub has gotten. And they're starting on Whole Cake Island setup, so I'm like slowly gonna work my way through that. But first we have Zoe that they have to go through, and of course, I just watched the other day, the episode of at the end of the episode where it's Raizo is safe and well and everything, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, okay, that at least deserves a video in regards to the loyalty of the Minks. In regard to, of course, we know the history of the Minks is that they've been around for about 1,000 years. The Mokumo Ductum has been on the back of Zunisha, that has been, wandering around for 1,000 years, kind of isolated from human civilization. They occasionally get, people that come and, see the island and everything. First, of course, we know that they have this connection to the Kozuki clan, which has been, around for at the very least 800 years or so, given, Void Century setup and the fact that they have a poneglyph. They have one of the road poneglyphs. So we know that there's that very far back connection that we have there that's explained in the fact that, that we see in Inarashi and Nekomamushi's flashbacks, during the Odin flashback, the flashback within the Odin flashback, we of course see that they, that there's the symbol of the Kozuki clan above, where the poneglyph is. Everybody on the island kind of knows about the poneglyph. Everybody on the island of Zoe, knows about this connection to the Kozuki clan and everything, that they're raised with this knowledge. They don't know how to read the poneglyphs, obviously. But they do know how to, they know to protect them, and they have an idea. They know what the different road poneglyphs are, or at the very least, that's just something that Inarashi and Nekomamushi found out during their travels with Odin and Roger and Whitebeard and such, that they learned during that time frame is also probably what happened as well. That allowed Nekomamushi and Inarashi to have that, information to be able to then tell Robin and Nami and everything in the Straw Hats about that. But, throughout the course of those episodes, when we're first introduced to the Mink tribe and everything, and, the chapters where we're introduced to the Mink tribe, they keep, even denying to the Straw Hats that they don't know who, Raizo is, when Jack was there attacking them and torturing them, took Nekomamushi's hand, took, Inarashi's part of his leg and everything, tortured them, poison gassed their country, they just kept denying that they didn't know who Raizo was. They swore on their lives, on the lives of their people, and a lot of them got very badly hurt. Several of them probably died. We know that, Inarashi and Nekomamushi basically got, kind of crucified on, scaffolds, and tortured even more, and had to watch their people being tortured around them. We know that, their country went through so much destruction because of Jack and the Beast Pirates and everything. And still, again and again and again, whenever they were asked where Raizo was, they would deny that they didn't know a Raizo. And, oh, here's a dog. There's no room for him on the bed. Well, there's room if you wanted to go over there. But he's probably just going to go downstairs. Or are you going to come in here? You want to come in here? I got a puppy. Why are you sniffing my foot? Well, I have a puppy. Let's see if he decides to come up a little bit further into the room. Come on, over here. Up on the bed. Okay, fine. You can determine what you want to do on your own. Hey, puppy. I love you too. Samoyed Mink. He might lay down on the floor. He's been laying on the floor a lot more lately because of our air conditioner issues, which, you know, at the very least have been somewhat okay, but moving back to the Minks. Puppy. And, you know, they just deny again and again and again that they have no idea who Rizzo is, if there's no one named Rizzo. They even tell Jack that, you know, you can go and you can look through the country and try to find him peacefully. And, of course, Jack doesn't do that because Jack is an a-hole and just, you know, destroy everything and blah, 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 as happens. And what of course, we end up seeing happen with the Straw Hats is that when they arrive, they even, you know, after they, you know, get rid of the rest of the Beast Pirates that are there and, you know, fix the Minks and everything, you know, Chopper and Caesar, you know, working together, able to, you know, fix the Minks and make them better and everything. There's still a fair amount of, you know, they still keep denying that they didn't know who Rizzo was. And it, you know, and then later on, once Kinemon and, you know, once Luffy's group arrives, you know, it's still, you know, don't talk about Rizzo, don't talk about Samurai, you know, all of that, you know, don't do that, even though Luffy's kind of an airhead when it comes to that. He's too, you know, bullheaded, but he eventually gets it. And then, you know, when, you know, Kinemon and Kanjuro, traitor that he is, so I'm like, I don't like Kanjuro. I love his devil fruit power with, you know, being able to make things come to life. I love the fact that his sword is basically a giant paintbrush. I love that. Those aspects I love. Kanjuro as a whole, no. Don't like Kanjuro. I don't even know where Kanjuro falls in, like, any popularity polls when it comes to, like, I don't know, just One Piece in general. I would assume that it's very, very low on the totem pole. I'm sure there's someone out there that likes him. But of course, what we see end up happening is Kanjuro and, you know, and Kinemon, you know, they get to the top and they end up going in and they end up interacting with the Minks, and, you know, they do the whole, you know, I am, you know, Kinemon from Wano and blah, 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 and, you know, we are looking for Rizzo and everything. And we see the moment, and, like, the Straw Hats even tried to prevent the, you know, the Minks and the Samurai from seeing each other, because, you know, it's just like, oh, the Minks are going to blame the Samurai for what happened to their country. I mean, and rightfully so. I don't think Kinemon or, you know, Kanjuro or Momo would have been, you know, at all, you know, would have, you know, they wouldn't have been angry at Nekomamushi and Arashi for, you know, getting angry at them if they did blame them for what happened to Zoe. And we even see how sorry Kinemon and the others are for what happened to Zoe later on, a little bit later on in the arc. But, of course, what happens is, you know, when Inarashi and Nekomamushi and the rest of the Minks see Kinemon and see Kanjuro and, you know, Momonosuke, they stop. They fall to the ground, like, you know, Nekomamushi and Inarashi are, like, sitting down and, like, looking at Kinemon. And then, and, you know, in the manga this happens, and in the anime it's a little bit drawn out. Certain moments I'm okay with them drawing out a little bit in the anime, like for this in regards to, like, drawing out the tension, I'm a little bit okay with that for this part. And we have the moment where, you know, all the Minks, like, bow their heads to the Samurai, and they're just like, you know, Rizzo is safe and well. And, you know, the rest of the Straw Hats are just like, the heck just happened? And Usopp is the one that, of course, you know, kind of, explains it the best, you know, kind of has the best reaction to that he's just like, he's kind of like, whoa, 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 back up. You guys knew that Rizzo was here the entire time. You knew where he was. and you still like allow Jack to torture you. You let almost 1,000-year-old civilization was going to fall apart. All of you were going to die, all to protect Raizo. And like Usopp is baffled by this loyalty that's shown by the Minks, and Nekomamushi is the one that says it, which is like this kind of loyalty you kind of expect from a dog, although this dog I'm pretty sure was just, betraying me for a piece of cheese. I love you, but you would. And, it's Nekomamushi that says something along the lines of, the Mink tribe have been like brothers to the Kozuki clan of Wano for so long, and, we would never betray a friend. And it's just this whole thing of, and he like pats Usopp on the head, which I just kind of like. It's just like this reassuring thing where you're just like, it's okay. And like the Straw Hats kind of get a bit more of an explanation that, they are, they get the whole explanation that, no, Momonosuke is not actually Kinemon's son, that his father was actually Lord Oden, Kozuki of Wano. We don't get the whole backstory and the fact that we don't know that there's like this time travel involved and everything, but we find that out later, which in regards to Inarashi and Nekomamushi just adds on to their loyalty and the fact that it's been 20 years for them since they've seen Momo. For Momo and Kinemon and, for the group that time traveled, it's been a couple of months. For, Neko and Inarashi, it's been 20 years since they've been waiting, since Oden died, since they made their way back to Zoe and, had their whole fighting spat thing that they do where they just, they fight like cats and dogs even though they used to be as close as brothers, before everything happened because, one of them, they both thought that the other one was the one that betrayed, Oden and everything. And it's just this moment where, you see even more, and that just, later on when you find out about the fact that they've been waiting for 20 years, that just adds to this loyalty and that extends to their people. Because we see what the people of the Mink tribe went through by Jack's hand and with the gas that, that Caesar made and everything. And, and just like how easily, yes, they were ready to fight against the Straw Hats again, but fight against the Straw Hats because they thought that they were part of Jack's crew. But then, of course, it's just like, no, they're not part of Jack's crew. They're actually, good people that have showed up and, and like this, and like we also see the loyalty get repaid to the Minks as well, in regards to how loyal Oden and the rest of the Scabbards, and Momo, and later on Hiyori, well, possibly Hiyori, we're not sure yet, although we're pretty sure she's the one that did bandage up the Scabbards, on Onigashima after the battle with Kaido. We're pretty sure she's the one that bandaged them up at this point in time. But, of course, we see that loyalty just reciprocated to the Minks as well because, the Straw Hats show up on the island and they see that the tribe is hurting. They see that they've been tortured and hurt and everything by Jack and by his crew and everything. And, they're just like, no, we have to help them. Even if they may end up attacking us, we still have to help them because they're people that are hurt. Even though, Law mentioned them being, rather bloodthirsty, even though, like, we've known Beppo for a long time and Beppo is not bloodthirsty unless you're a salmon or something. Unless you're a salmon or whatever his favorite food is, or you hurt one of his crewmates or something like that, then Beppo is definitely going to probably attack you if you, like, I don't know, hurt Law or Sachi or Penguin or something, or one of the other crewmates. But what ends up happening is, of course, the Straw Hats help them. And, the Minks instantly start to show loyalty and, gratitude to the Straw Hats. And we see this more and more throughout the course of the arc. I think they played up a little bit more in the anime than what I remember from the manga. But, they play up, how grateful they are and how much they want to, repay their debt to the Straw Hats. And multiple times the Straw Hats are like, no, we didn't help you because we want you to repay us. We helped you because it was kind of the right thing to do. And of course there's a whole irony there because Luffy's like, no, I don't want to be a hero because a hero is the one that like shares his meat with everybody and stuff. Has to share his food and everything. Whereas, he gets to keep all the meat. That's the way that Luffy's mind works. But Luffy also is the type of person that will help people that are in need. He helped Vivi, he helped Rebecca, he helped Nami, he helped Usopp and Kaya, he, helped free Zoro. He, again and again and again, we see Luffy, showing this loyalty to the people that end up joining his crew, or even in the case of, like Rebecca and, some of the others that are around them that ones that become their friends in regards to Rebecca and like Shirahoshi and, the Fishman Kingdom, Ryugu Kingdom and everything. And, we see this loyalty, again, that the Straw Hats, like, reciprocate to the Mink tribe and to other people as well, to other, groups that they've helped as well, like the Skypeans and Cricket and everything. And, even people that they haven't known very long are just like, well, they were nice to us. They gave us food, or they, told us information or whatever. They were nice to us. So why shouldn't we be nice to them back? Or why shouldn't we help them if they need help? And like we see that happen with the Straw Hats throughout the course of the story, but they reciprocate that to the Minks as well. And we see Pedro's loyalty come into Pedro. Oh God, Pedro. Pedro. Oh God, that's probably gonna make me cry when I get to that in the anime. But there's definitely gonna be other parts that make me cry when we get to them in the anime. When I watch them in the anime, but. What happens is, Pedro's loyalty, and it's also like the Mink's loyalty to, the kind of Toki's prophecy about the dawn, but also the Minks have been waiting for so long for the dawn of the new world to come, even before, the 20 years, all this time frame that they've been waiting and waiting and waiting for, this new era to occur, to start coming to life. And, we see part of Pedro's loyalty go with that, with the fact, that he begs Big Mom to, not take so many years from his life, offers his eye and everything, and all this other stuff, and how he was willing to, sacrifice himself to allow Luffy and, the rest of the Sanji retrieval team to be able to escape Whole Cake Island and everything. And even though that cost them Pedro and everything, and like we see the pain that they go through in regards to losing Pedro, and of course, a lot of this is also like re-shown throughout the the more recent episode of episode 1015, beautifully done. And I think I mentioned that in a previous video or a recent video, but we also see, just like on top of that, like, yes, we see like what Wano has been going through, but we also see like parts of like the Mink, the Zoe arc get represented there and everything. The images of Neko and Inarashi, and like, we see how, even, Raizo was so angry at Inarashi and Nekomamushi for like, leaving him trapped in, the whale tree and everything, chained up in the whale tree, which, in retrospect, we know that Raizo has a devil fruit. And in that time frame, he was like chained up. So did they give him, was it like Sea Prism Stone handcuffs that they used on him? But then I thought we saw like Kinemon touch the Sea Prism Stone, or we saw someone touch the Sea Prism Stone, but I don't know if it was ever stated whether or not that it was Sea Prism Stone. Don't know how the Minks would have had Sea Prism Stone, but you get the idea. But what ends up happening, of course, is, Raizo gets very angry at them for the fact of, like, everybody that brought me food was hurt. Why didn't you idiots just hand me over? And they're just like, no, why would we do that? And we see just again and again and again the loyalty from the Minks. And I will make the equivalency here of the fact that, in regards to a lot of different types of animals, loyalty is a big thing for them. Dogs can become very, very loyal to their owners. Other types of animals who become very loyal to like their handlers, or like whoever their owner is or whatever. Sometimes one human or a couple of humans more than other ones, depending on certain circumstances. And, even in the case of, like even working at a zoo, if you get, the animals get to know who you are, that doesn't mean that you're like immune from being hurt by them. But, we see this, and also like, there's like all those images, those videos online that you can watch of like someone that was like a wildlife worker that like raised like a lion or something from when it was a cub, and then like release it into the wild, once it was, ready to go back and everything, so it still take care of itself in the wild, and like, they're reunited and everything, and it's just like the lion still recognizes them or whatever, or like whatever the animal was, like still recognizes the human that helped raise it. And, you know, dogs will like recognize their owners, you know, even if it's been like extremely long periods of time since they've seen them, like, veterans that come back from, war that had like their pets at home or whatever, had like their service dogs or whatever, that it does take the animals a little while to recognize them, but they do eventually recognize them. And, I see a lot of, adorable animal videos that pop up on like my YouTube and Facebook feeds and everything. And, it's a lot of them are like dogs that are being adorable or cats that are helping take care of a baby or whatever the case may be. But it's, the minks show that type of loyalty, that type of animal loyalty. And, there's the beautiful imagery that we see in regards to, that the scabbards kind of show, or that is shown in, episode, 1015, and like that harkens back to other things, we see when, Luffy and the others, Luffy and Law and Momonosuke and, the Mink tribe made, the pirate ninja mink samurai alliance or whatever it was, that whole big long alliance name that Luffy came up with. Does ninja have to be in there? Yes. Side note, I loved watching in the episode where they're like introduced to Raizo, and when like all of the guys just seem disappointed that Raizo is not what they expected of a ninja, and that includes Law looking sad, which I just find so funny. It's like, Luffy, I understand. Usopp, I understand. Chopper, I understand. Frankie, I can understand. Even Zoro, a little bit, I can understand. But I just find it even funnier when it's Law that seems sad about the fact that the ninja's not what he thought it was. And of course, when, they're all just like, do all these different techniques. And, like, Law's like, can you do shadow clones? And Raizo's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And Law's like, no shadow clones. I'm sorry, I just found that so funny and adorable throughout that portion of the episode. Because it's not like an aspect of Law that we're extremely familiar with. It's like when you bring up bread and Law doesn't like bread, and then there's like just like him getting sad about the fact that the ninja is not quite the ninja he wanted it to be. And then he's like, Law still ends up being like happy when, Raizo does show off his techniques, which I just find funny. But and like as I stated, we see the Minks loyalty get repaid in the fact of how much, how loyal Odin was to them. Odin was to Inarashi and Nekomamushi when they were kids, and when they turned when they became the scabbards and everything, and how they sailed with him and him on Whitebeard's ship, and then of course him on Roger's ship and everything, and how they they were willing to wait for 20 years and everything for Momonosuke to come back. And then, of course, we see, when Raizo ends up looking at, like, the devastation that was caused all because the Minks were protecting him, he's very grateful to them for protecting them, but it's still also the whole thing of, like, you idiots, why didn't you just hand me over type of thing? Because it would have saved your country so many problems. Or at the very least, we think that it would have. Knowing Jack, he probably still would have found, like, some reason to torture them or whatever. It's like, oh, you didn't hand Raizo over fast enough. I'm still taking your leg and your arm or whatever. Still going to hurt your people and everything. And I was explaining some of this to my mom yesterday, and it's like, I was, like, trying to figure out, I was like, I don't know if I could fathom that type of loyalty that the Minks have to the Kozuki clan, and then later on to the Straw Hats as well, to the Heart Pirates. I cannot fathom that type of loyalty. It's like, I'm loyal to, like, my family, I'm loyal to, different things like that, but it's just like, yes, I would protect my family, I would protect my, my nieces and nephew, I would protect my parents, my sister and brother-in-law, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, it's like, yes, I would protect them, but I am well aware of the fact that I probably have a breaking point if you try to torture me. That, I don't know what that breaking point would be. I'm pretty sure it's not anywhere near what, like, Inarashi and Nekomamushi or the Mink tribe went through in regards to, like, trying to, like, protect Raizo. But I would still try to hold out as long as I could, but I cannot fathom that type of loyalty that they have. And it's just like, I can't do that. I cannot see where that comes from. I'm just baffled by that. It's amazing, but I'm baffled by it. And, we see a lot of that when it comes to, with the Minks and everything. But as I said, that's also repaid because we have the moment in episode 1015 when, Luffy's doing, when we're kind of seeing, not just like through Luffy's eyes, but just kind of like seeing like kind of what's led up to, this moment in Wano when Luffy gets to the roof in episode 1015 when, him and the rest, him and the other 4 of the worst generation, Zoro, Law, Kid, and Killer are there. And, Luffy is, walks up to where like, past Big Mom and past Kaido and everything and, sees the scabbards on the ground. And it's, him remembering, all the scabbards, when they were like, I think it was like when they were leaving to head off to Onigashima and everything. And then, now where they're just on the ground laying, hurt and everything. And Luffy, he's showing, that loyalty to them again. And then, of course, after, Law, like, shambles them out of the way, that's when Luffy, of course, just, Gomu Gomu no Red Rocks, Kaido in the face. Which, okay. Yeah, I like the fact that we kind of get that episode, and then, like, just, like, a couple of weeks later, it's, like, the manga is kind of when we get the conclusion to, hopefully, the resolution to that battle. I'm recording this, like, the week after that episode, after, chapter 1050 something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the one where we get the sections of Kaido flashback and then Luffy finally, just kind of punching through the giant magma dragon and then like sending Kaido to the ground. And Onigashima is safe and everything, and kind of this conclusion of this like 20-year long wait that the scabbards and Wano itself has been waiting for. And, so we see that, but then we also, that loyalty from the Minks to the Kozuki clan, and then like the Kozuki clan in regards to, Oden and Momo and, I was going to say Komurasaki, which is technically right, but Hiyori, and that the Straw Hats have shown to the Minks, and that, all of this other stuff that we've seen, that like culmination of that loyalty has been shown. And I'm like, yeah, I'm one of the people that wants Carrot to join the crew because then we have the bunny girl on the crew, but I also want Yamato to join the crew. Don't see why both of them can't join. I would love for both of them to join. I'd be like, yeah, they can both join the crew. There's no law that says they can't. There's no law that says you can't have 2 crew members join at the same time. That's not against the rules, I don't think. But, we've seen what the Minks have been able to show with their loyalty to the Straw Hats, to the Kozuki clan, to their allies again and again and again. And we also kind of see that loyalty with Beppo in regards to like his relationship with Law and Sachi and Penguin. Because like I think it is stated, I know it's technically like in a light novel, but I think it's also like stated in some of the Viva cards or something like that, or in SBS where like Oda actually like drew out when like Law and Beppo and Sachi and Penguin all met. And like Beppo and Sachi have been like kind of like, picking on Beppo, when, Law shows up and like, kind of stops him, and then like that's the beginning of the Heart Pirates, and we see how loyal Beppo is to Law and everything. But it's just like this whole thing of like, that loyalty that the Minks have, I just cannot fathom that for the life of me. I would love to understand it. I hope I never have to demonstrate that type of loyalty, but I'm sure at some point I'm sure I would do my best if I ever have to. But I'm just like, that loyalty blows me away. And I just wanted to do a video where I kind of talked about that, because it was just one of those things that has like these major impacts on the story. And it shows like, yeah, we've seen Luffy's loyalty to his crew and to his Nakama and his other friends and everything. And even to just some people that he's just randomly met because he liked them. And he's just like, I like that person. They gave me food. Therefore you hurt them and I'm going to punch you, is Luffy logic. But it's also, the Straw Hats help the Minks, and the Minks are then, loyal to them and everything. The Straw Hats help Zoe with, when Zoe gets hurt by Jack and everything. They, help Zunisha to, fix up its leg and everything. and it's just those moments that just kind of compound on top of each other. And I just wanted to do a video about that. That was about it. I thought that was a good idea for a video. Whether or not people actually end up watching it is left up for debate, but you know, that's what we have. I thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the video. And like, if you think I missed something in the video that like didn't quite demonstrate, you know, that like something that I missed that didn't, you know, missed in regards to like the Mink's loyalty to someone or someone else's loyalty to the Minks or something like that, comment about that, or just like whatever was your favorite moment or whatever in regards to like with the Minks. I just really like, I just find the whole thing about Nekomamushi and Inarashi. Nekomamushi, I have a Gatling gun now on my arm. Inarashi, Ayas has sword leg. I also just love their Sulong forms, because we also see like just a tiny bit to add in at the end here. We also have like the battle on top of Onigashima, you know, between the Minks and, you know, Jack to, you know, get back at Jack and his crew and everything. Like how Inarashi and Nekomamushi have gone Sulong and like they deal with Jack. And then, of course, you know, when they're fighting against Kaido, when the Scabbards are fighting against Kaido and everything, which, of course, the Scabbards also have their loyalty to Odin and to Momonosuke and everything, and to Wano itself, and to the Straw Hats and such. And, of course, you know, also the Mink's loyalty to each other, because we see, you know, because Peckham's goes into his Sulong form to, like, kind of get revenge for Pedro. And then, of course, you know, Neko is the one that finally, you know, Nekomamushi in regards to, like, you know, also Carrot and Wanda kind of helping in regards to, like, taking down Perospero. After, you know, for Pedro's death. Even though Perospero's like, I'm not the one that killed him. He blew himself up. I didn't make him do it. You know, so it's like, no, you're the one that gets the blame. I don't care. Because Pedro's gone and it's your fault. You know, that, you know, I really like whoever, I don't know who does Pedro's voice in the English dub, but I think he does a really good job. Also, I just like, because I mentioned Sicilian before, like the birthday isekai video, Sicilian. I just like Sicilian a lot too, and like how he's like full power in regards to like, yes, we will help you, but I despise things that are cute and sweet. I'm sorry. There's a lot of the Minks that I really like. Then, of course, there's, like, Chopper and Milky that is just, like, adorable. With, like, how Chopper is just, like, you know, oh, my God, Milky is so cute. But, okay. That's what I have for this video. I thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you have a nice rest of your day. Bye! Hey, wait. Hang on. Raizo is here. And has been all along. And you all knew. But all of you were about to die. A city a millennium old collapsed into ruin. Sorry to have kept it a secret from you, Gaara. Since long in the past, we have been like brothers to the Kozuki clan of Wano. No matter what should befall us, we would never sell a comrade to an enemy.